Hello and welcome to Knit Cheek. My name is Natalie and I am the cheek behind Knit Cheek, and today you are watching my January knitting update. Welcome back to my channel. I am filming in Southern California where it is dark and gloomy today, and I am going to be updating you on everything that I got up to knitting wise in January. I feel like I am tired of calling these episodes podcasts and like giving them a number. I will still put them into like a podcast playlist if you want to binge watch them, but I don't know. I feel like because I don't know what number episode this is. I want to say 14. I'm not 100% sure. But we did just hit 1 year here on YouTube, was January 31st. And yeah, we're here. We're doing it. I'm going to do my best this year to post 3 videos a month. And I think I will just do like a monthly update instead of like a podcast episode. So today's episode is my January update. And I'm just going to tell you everything that I knit in January. Except for it may fuzz the line because some of these things, like obviously I worked on in February and I'm filming this in February, but let's not get too technical here. Unfortunately today, I only have 1 of my 4 finished objects, but I have plenty of pictures of the finished objects that I did gift. So I will show them somewhere here for you to look at. So I have 4 finished objects, 2 works in progress, and a ton of yarn. I have a pretty big yarn haul here. If you watched my 2025 knitting goals and intentions, one of my goals this year was to up my stash, enhance my stash, because I didn't have that much yarn, and we can check that off the list. We're good. I think we're good. I don't know. You may not think this is a lot, but I think this is a lot. I have a good amount of yarn. You may notice I am attempting to film on Mr. Cheek's very nice camera again. The last time I did it, I struggled with the microphone. It's a pretty ditzy moment, but I didn't have the, well, actually, no, I didn't have the right cord, but I also didn't plug it in all the way. To be fair, it's really hard to get it in there. Like, you really have to put it in there. So the audio wasn't great, and so I kind of gave up on filming on this camera for a while, and now I'm attempting it again. I'm a little nervous because the lighting is weird today because it's really cloudy, so it's in, it's out, so I don't know. Hopefully this turns out good, but we're gonna try it again. I really like filming on the camera because I have a lot of notes on my phone. It's easier to use my phone than my iPad because my iPad's old and slow. Now I can reference my notes, and if I want to look something up, I can look something up really quick. The downside to that, though, is that my mom can call me or whoever else wants to call me, but I'm going to put it on silent. So let's talk about my finished objects in January 2025. My first finished object this year was the baby bear bonnet. So last year on my everything I made in 2024, I did kind of a compilation of like what was my fastest project, what was my longest project, and kind of like some stats like that. And I don't think that I can beat my first finished project this year. I started this on January 7th and I finished January 8th. And it is the baby bear bonnet. It is a pattern from Knitting for Olive, and I knit it in Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in brown nougat. This was a gift for my best friend's baby. Yeah, I finished this in like a little over 24 hours. It was within 1 day. I think I cast it on like 2 p.m. on the 7th and then finished it at like 3:30 on the 8th. So it was insanely fast. I made the smallest size. I don't actually know if it was the smallest size. It was for a 3-month-old baby. There may be one size smaller than that. And it was a really fast knit. I mean, it's really small. I forgot to write down how much it weighs, but it was really light. I think I used less than 50 grams of yarn. It was a really interesting construction, the way that you do use short rows to shape the back of the bonnet. And then you add an I-cord to the bottom of it so that you can tie it, and it is so adorable on this baby. 5 out of 5 stars for me. That was a great knit. Loved it. I did watch, my friends invited me over to their house on the 7th, actually a friend with a baby, and she's like, oh, we're gonna watch Wicked, and this is like my 3rd time watching Wicked, and I'm not I'm not a huge musical person or like a fan of musicals, and I had already seen it twice in the theater, but I kept using any excuse to watch this movie because it's a really good knitting movie, because it's like I don't need to watch it, I've seen it already. So I would just go hang out with my friends and they would watch this movie and I would listen to the music and knit. And so when they asked me, I was like, oh cool, I'm gonna get so much work done on this beanie, and I did. And I was able to make sure that it was gonna fit the baby while I was there too. So that was my first finished object this year. Another finished object that I don't have is the night and day cowl. And this project was a project I started January 5th. This is the Andrea Mowry pattern, and I did already knit this twice last year. I knit one for myself, and then I knit one for my mom for Christmas, and I knit it in Sea Change Raving DK yarn in like a really dark brown, almost black, and a cream color. And my aunt came to visit and she loved it, and I wanted to make her something, a hand knit, for a long time, but I didn't know what she would like, and she liked what I was knitting. So I ended up giving her that one with my mom's okay. My mom was like, oh yeah, give her that. I can be patient and I'll wait for you to just make me another one. So I knit another exact same cowl January 5th, and I finished it January 18th. It took me 13 days. These are really quick knits, these cowls. This one I think may have taken me like a day longer than the other ones did. This one was the worst one that I did for sure. I think by the third time I was doing this, I was over this pattern. I was struggling because I thought I was gonna have enough yarn because I had exactly half left over. That doesn't always work out, does it? And I think I may have calculated it wrong, because there's two different colors, and so I had enough of one color and didn't have enough of the, I think the primary color, so I should have switched them, but I didn't think. I ran out of the white color. I had to do a little bit of finagling to knit this cowl because I didn't want to buy more yarn for this. What did I end up doing? So I ended up shortening it like two color repeats at the end, and then when I seamed it in the back, because I wasn't going to rip it all the way back to start over, the two edges that you seam together, one was shorter than the other, and I was so stressed out that this was going to look so janky because there was just a couple of things that weren't, right. Luckily, when my mom wears it, the things that were janky you cannot see because they're like tucked under, because it's a cowl that's bigger than it like needs to be, so you're going to get some bulk there, and you can't see any of the weird shenanigans that I did. I also added a purl row. I may have added 2 purl rows. No, I think I did something different than I did here. Let me look at the picture. So for my aunts, I think I added a purl row before binding off because my cowl was rolling a lot. And so I was trying to implement something that would fix that. So I added 2 purl rows on my mom's. I don't know what I was thinking. So the last like black stripe is pearls, and I still did the slip. So from far away, you cannot tell at all. From closer up, the last row appears to be a little bit thicker because it just has more girth from those pearls than the knits. But on her, it looks really great, and it doesn't roll at all. So I would say that I succeeded in successfully getting that not to roll. When I look at Andrea Mowry's samples, hers is so flat, but I don't know what she does. Like for tension, if she just blocks it really well, I don't know what she does, but mine happened to roll. My third finished project, you remember that baby bear beanie or baby bear bonnet that I just mentioned? Well, I knit 2 of them. And this is a problem that I had in January where I was knitting projects back to back, these same exact projects. So my mom's cowl, I had knit one in December, and then in January, I knit the exact same cowl. And as a knitter, you may know that that's not what you want to do. You want to knit new stuff. You want to start new projects. And I ended up knitting a second baby bear bonnet because I thought I would whip one up for my cousin who lives in New York. And so I ended up knitting a 9-month size of the baby bear bonnet. So it did take a bit longer. I also was knitting it with scraps that I have from my Ariana cardigan, which is a crochet granny square cardigan knitting for all of heavy merino. But some of the scraps I had actually ripped out from granny squares that did not meet gauge. So those strands of yarn are cut like granny square length. So they're not too short to like make yourself crazy working on a project, but they were short enough to where I had a good amount of ends to weave in. It just made the project like more tedious. At this point, I was tired of knitting this thing, and there was just more and more things like causing friction with me trying to finish this project. So I didn't finish this one as fast, which is fine, but I think this one took me 5 days. And I shipped this off to my cousin in New York, and it's too big for the baby. So I think the 3-month one that I made for my friend's baby was also too big. This is a pattern that calls for DK weight, and I used worsted weight because that's what I had. So this is partially my fault, but I hope that she gets to wear it next year, but we'll see. My friend's baby, who's 3 months old, and I knit the 3-month-old baby bear bonnet. It's slightly too big, but she wears it anyways, and she's so adorable. I could die. So those are the 3 finished objects that I do not have today. I do have one, so we're gonna pay a lot of attention to it because I actually have it, and it is raining. So I live on a really busy street, and a lot of the times the cars driving by, like I can hear it when I'm editing these videos, and I try to do my best to reduce the background noise, but sometimes when you get, you know, some jerk driving by and a really loud car, it's hard. I can't really edit that out. And I feel like now that it's raining, like the cars are louder because they're driving in the rain. So this may have not been the best filming day. I tried to film yesterday and the lighting was so bad that I didn't film. We're just dealing with what we got. It's January. It's January in Southern California. Let's talk about my January Cuff Club socks. These are my January Cuff Club socks, and they are knit up in Knit Pick Stroll. I'm gonna get up and show you them closer. So these are the January Cuff Club socks by Summer Lee. She has a pattern that you can buy that's called like the Colorwork Cuff Club, and she will email you a new colorwork pattern every month. And I have been following along. I think I've knit 1, 2, I think these are only my 3rd ones that I've made. Am I wrong? I think these are my 3rd ones, yeah, which is not that much. August, I skipped September, I skipped October, I did November, I skipped December. Okay, yeah. So these are my 3rd ones. I have knit other socks as well. You know, it's hard to do a color one every month. And these are like the simplest ones that she came out with, but they have a high impact with like the 3 different colors. And I really like them. And I have been so tempted to wear these like ever since I finished them. I was like, no, I'm gonna wait until I can show them here on the YouTube, because once I wear them around the house, they don't look as cute and nice, and they will be covered in my pet's hair. So I've been holding off on wearing those. And so I cast these on January 2nd, and I finished them January 27th. So these took me almost all month to make, 25 days. I never swatched for socks. I knit the size medium, knit these up in Knit Pick Stroll. I finished the first sock on the 18th, and I finished the second one on the 27th. And I give these 5 out of 5 stars. I love these. These are not normal knit cheek colors. I really want to be somebody who like knits with more colors, and I'm trying. It's hard though, because I'm very like neutral and neutral paleted. Yeah, it's hard. These are not something like, if this was a dress, I would not be wearing this, but because they're socks, it's fine. You know, I'm going to wear them in a shoe. So in a boot where you're not going to see them, or just around the house where you will see them. But they're definitely colors that don't really, well, I don't know. This color is kind of on brand here, but these colors are kind of more like out there, but they're really cool. They're really cool. They're really pretty purples. I don't remember the colors off the top of my head. I want to say hazy violet and heathered sprinkles. I don't know. I'll put them down in the description if you're interested. But these are my first socks of the year. I'm hoping to knit 10 pairs of socks this year, and I think I'm doing okay. So here we are, first pairs of socks this year. I'm so excited that I get to wear these now that I've showed them. Moving on, those were my 4 finished objects in January. I think that's pretty good, 4 finished objects in January. They were all small, but you know, we'll take it. I have 2 knitting whips and a sewing whip. What? Sorry, that was really annoying. This is some of my new yarn. So a lot of the yarn that I'm going to show you does not have anything attached to it. It's just stash yarn. Both of my whips are new to me yarn. So this is pretty, revolutionary. What am I trying to say? This is new for me, is buying a lot of yarn. I usually don't buy a lot of yarn. I usually buy yarn like for the project, but I'm trying this out. I feel like having yarn around makes it easier to like spontaneously do things and to like be inspired by what you have. So, but this is Lion Brand's Fisherman's Wool. And this is a really popular yarn that was made known to me from Taylor from Wool Needles Hands. She knit like a Frankenstein sweater out of this. Joann's is sinking, right? And so I went to Joann's thinking I was going to find crazy deals at Joann's, which it was aight. But all of their Lion Brand wool was like 40% off, and then an extra 20% off if you had the coupon. So I bought a lot of it. So spoiler alert for the future. But here's the first one. And this is the color like natural brown heather. And I don't find this to be itchy at all. I know some people do. I know some people have a sensitivity to this. The only place I really feel like I'm sensitive is on my forehead, which is like if I wear a beanie, this might prickle. I don't know if I like knit maybe a cowl or something if it would bother me. But for a sweater, I have absolutely no problem wearing this. But I will keep you updated on that because I know that people are curious about these things. Some of the other Lion Brand that I got is not as, what's the word? Like there's definitely tooth, maybe is the word. Like I don't want to say prickly, like a prickliness, but it's not an itchy prickly to me. It's just, it's there. It's a wool. It's 100% for sure wool. Knit sheet confirmed. So this is my Sookie cardigan, and this is my first ever test knit, which is a little scary for me at least. And this is a pattern by Celine, and she's a YouTuber here on YouTube. Why do I say that? Obviously she's on YouTube if she's a YouTuber. But her name is Celine, and her channel name is Woozy, like W-O-O-Z-Y, and she's Italian. And she came out with this cardigan, which is called the Sookie cardigan from Gilmore Girls. I made that face because I actually really don't like Gilmore Girls that much. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. I'll watch it, but like, you know. But this is the Sookie cardigan. And it's hard to show this because I didn't know this about stockinette because I've never really made a lot of stockinette, like just plain stuff. But it's like it rolls, so it's really hard to tell what it's going to look like. I cannot wait to block this. But like, I mean, look at this. Just the crazy thing is I've been knitting on this and I recently measured for whatever reason and I didn't think I was anywhere near done. And then it turns out I'm done. I'm done with the body. I need to do the hem. But I wouldn't have known this because it curls so much. I would have just kept knitting. So this is a test knit that's due March 5th. And let me start from the beginning. So I applied to do this test knit because for a long time, I thought that round neck cardigans like wouldn't look good on me, and I just always dismissed them as like something that I would never wear. And then out of nowhere, I got this question in my head like, why? And then I became obsessed with round neck cardigans, and I have a bundle on Ravelry. I'm trying to find the perfect one. And the thing that I don't like about round neck cardigans, I think, is when they like fold in the front and they don't have a lot of structure. So I was looking for a round neck cardigan with a double knit button band, which I hate knitting those, but they look great. This is a double knit button band here. And I thought that would give it more structure because it's double knitted, so it wouldn't like just flop over. And I couldn't really find that in a lot of patterns. And I could have modified a pattern, but when she posted this picture and did a test call, I was like, that's exactly what I've been looking for. And it's just a plain stockinette round neck cardigan. And I thought this would be a great like everyday cardigan. And that's why I chose such a hardy wool in a brown color so that I could wear this all the time and not have to worry and be precious with it. Like this would be just super hard wearing. And I have never gauged so hard for a pattern in my life because it was a test knit. Like usually, you know, you gauge and you're off a little bit and you're like, whatever. But I wanted to make sure that I gave this my all. So I made 4 different gauge swatches for this. 4 different gauge swatches to make sure that I was on gauge with Celine. And I got really, really, really close. Like, I mean, if you actually think about it, like there's no way you're going to get exactly the exact amount, but I was really, really close, like within a 1/16 of an inch, less than that, of close to her gauge. I really made sure that I was on gauge for this project. And I flew through the first part of this project. When did she get? She gave us the pattern like January 22nd. And I flew through the first part of this pattern because I thought, okay, if I can, March 5th, that's 6 weeks. I've knit a sweater in 3 weeks, you know, I've done this before, but I wanted to make sure that I wasn't stressed out. So I really flew through this. And I mean, I'm done with the body. I know that that sounds crazy, but when you try it on, you can tell it's a little bit cropped. It's not super cropped, but it's a little bit cropped, which is fine because I'm short. I'm not so super short, but I don't know, I'm short. I feel like I have a short torso, but I also feel like I have short legs. So I don't know where the height comes from, like where my proportions come from. I just have a really long neck. So, which I don't. I don't, what else I have to say about this? It is, so far has been super easy, really straightforward, drop shoulder. I've done this kind of construction before, really nothing to say. The test knit is going well. I would like to pick up for a sleeve this weekend to make sure that that looks good so I can let her know that the sleeve pickup worked for my size. And yeah, I feel like I'm feeling great about this. I have plenty of time and it's not stressing me out at all. So will I test knit again? I think so. I think this is a good experience for me and I'm really enjoying this. You want to come up here? Hey, how about you don't hit my microphone though? Okay. Yeah, you can sit here. Okay. We have now been joined by Peaches, who is like right in front of the microphone. So I don't know if you can see her. And right now I just have this in my my local yarn store. Does something called Yarno, and they give you a tote when you buy the Yarno thing. It's $5, and then you get to play this game called Yarno. And this is where I'm keeping my sweater, along with one of my little Notion tins that I talked about in my organizing video. So there you go. Have all my things in here and talk about my second work in progress. You know what? Technically I have 3, but one of them I haven't been working on a lot, but I will show it. My second work in progress is my Stornoway Sweater. I don't know why I said it like that because I couldn't remember the name because I keep accidentally pronouncing it Stornoway, like when I try to do the hashtag. It's Stornoway with an O. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, we need to cut those nails. And this is, you know what? I actually don't know the designer name, but I have my phone so I can just look it up. Okay, let's look that up real quick. Cheryl Mukhtari. I wanted to knit this. It's been in my favorites for a long time. I was on the fence about knitting the sweater 18 because I felt like it was too similar to this sweater, which it is and it isn't. I ended up knitting this because Casey from the Young Folk Knits and then Jess and Rachel from those twins who knit are hosting a knit along called the Stornoway Sweater Squad, and it goes until March 15th. So if you want to knit the sweater, you still have time to join the knit along. This is the Stornoway sweater. I am knitting this in blue sky fibers in the color driftwood and dark chocolate. And I will probably have to get up closer to show you. I don't have much, right? I just have the first wedge of a sweater here. I went back and forth with the colors for this. I really struggled picking the colors because I love the original design, the original sample, which was like a cream and a black, which I would never do black. Black does not look good on me, but the dark brown was what I always envisioned. And I was trying to not knit another cream sweater because I just knit the sweater 18 and it was cream. And I feel like I'm always so drawn to cream and I want to knit everything in cream. And I'm like, I need to stop doing that because your girl likes to eat salsa and I like to eat salsa straight from the jar. Like I can't keep setting myself up to fail. I knit a couple swatches. I almost knit the entire sweater actually from the fisherman's wool. And the reason that I didn't was because I got accepted for the Sookie Cardigan test. And I was like, no, this is Sookie Cardigan right here. So I had to find new yarn. And I struggled to find this yarn actually because it was sold out at most places, like most local places, in the colors that I wanted. So I ended up having to buy it. I think I bought it from yarn.com. It is sold in 150 grams per cake, which is awesome. Okay, well, my SD card filled up and I'm learning here. I'm learning all this camera stuff, so please pardon my weird editing because I don't know how I'm gonna put this together. My camera SD card filled up right when I was talking about the yarn that I picked for my Stornoway sweater. So I am using Blue Sky Fibers Woolstoke worsted, and it's a really light, fluffy worsted weight yarn. I have this cream color, and then I have the dark chocolate color, so it's driftwood and dark chocolate. And I'm gonna get up and show you. Well, did I show you this? I'm struggling because I don't remember where I was because I had to upload the video from the SD card to the computer, and that took some time, so it's been like 45 minutes. I actually think it's been longer than that. I think it's been an hour. But this is my sweater. I have just like 4 stripes in there, and it's this beautiful textured drop shoulder sweater. I will say this pattern is definitely not a beginner pattern. They have you start off with this this shoulder increase section detail, which will show up like a seam on the back of the shoulder. So you have to do like a tiny bit of one color and then a big block of the secondary color and then go back to the other color. So you have to either carry your first color across the back or do intarsia, basically. That was my dog. They give you 0 instruction on how to do that, so you kind of have to figure that out on your own. It's this beginning, these 2 rows in the beginning were they're a little fiddly. It was a little bit of a struggle to get this project started. I thought I would just willy-nilly cast it on and be on my way, but it did take a bit of brain power, and I had to YouTube how to do intarsia because I've never actually done that. I mean, it's a really small, like, Michael. Oh my God, my dog keeps, like, I have something here and she keeps jumping over it instead of just walking around. I don't know what she's doing. I just let her outside. Now she has all this energy. I'm really excited to be a part of this cowl, and I'm really excited to knit this with the group. Obviously, my Sookie cardigan is going to take priority because that is a test knit and it has to be done by March 5th, where this is a knit along that ends March 15th. It would be really cool to finish, but you know, I've never knit 2 sweaters at the same time. This is all new territory for me, but I'm excited to be part of it and excited to knit the sweater. I really like the sweater. So I don't remember if I was recording when I was talking about picking colors for this, but I really struggled to pick colors for this cardigan. I ended up just going for really similar colors to the original sample, with the driftwood and the dark chocolate. The original sample I think is a black stripe, which I don't do black. Black just doesn't look good on me. I don't know. I really struggled because I didn't really want to do this in cream. I think I already recorded this. I cannot remember. But anyways, I ended up just going with what I originally loved so much about the pattern, which was the original colors. I do wonder if I would have like inversed it, if that would have been cool, and then that way I wouldn't have a majority cream sweater, but I didn't think about that when I was buying the yarn, so it's too late for that. Let me show you the swatch before I move on. Okay, and now I have to wonder, is it going to refocus? I think I don't know if there's a setting I need to do to like make it focus on my face. Very new to this. My 3rd work in progress. I think I have worked on it since I've shown it here. I do a work in progress Wednesdays on TikTok, or I'm trying to. Sometimes I forget. So I have shown this on there, and I haven't worked on it in like 3 weeks. But I think in the beginning of the year, I kind of worked on it a little bit. And here's where I'm at with this shawl. It's the Barber shawl, and I'm knitting this in Illimati yarn. I think that's how you say it. And I have 3 50-gram skeins of this. And this is back when I was very confused by yarn, and I would go to the store and be like, oh, this skein's $15, that's great. And I would buy 3 of them and then not realize that those are 50-gram skeins. That's really not that much yarn, like for that price. So I have 3 skeins of this, and this is where I'm at. So this is a whole skein, and now I'm kind of worried that is this going to be big enough like to do anything with 3 skeins? I still have the one in the middle and then one to end with. So basically I'm going to have 2 ends and then 1 skein in the middle. And I just don't know. And I really don't want to buy more yarn. And I know I have significantly less yardage than what the pattern originally called for, but I was fine with making a smaller one. Just as long as I can like put it over, do something with it, right? Like it's not too small that I can't. So I don't know. So that's where I'm at with this. I forget about this constantly and I just don't have any desire to knit this. I actually thought about ripping it out and I did look for other patterns for this yarn, like maybe something that would be a bit more like lacy, that way I can get more out of the yardage. But I don't think I'm there yet. I do think I want to finish this, but for some reason I just have zero desire to knit it. This will be just the project that just keeps doing that because I mean I cast this on in 2024, so it's there for me when I'm ready. Okay, those are my 3 works in progress, and now I do have a sewing work in progress. So I bought fabric for Rosery Apparel's boxer shorts, or pajama shorts. She has a YouTube here. On YouTube, again, I keep saying that phrase, it makes 0 sense. So she has a YouTube where she shows you how to sew and she does like step-by-steps on how to sew pajama shorts. So I cut out some pajama shorts and this is just really inexpensive Joann's cotton fabric. And I hope I cut this out right. Like this is the way you're supposed to cut it, right? This is the stretchy part. That's the part that's wide. I hope so. So I have 2 pairs of shorts that I'm making at the same time. And here's my second one. And this one I didn't cut right. So I ended up having to seam this together to make a piece that's big enough. I hope this is fine. And then the second one I didn't cut right either. And I ended up having to buy more fabric from the store. I think this was like $3.99 a yard. And I bought a total of 3 yards after having to buy more. So I have, I don't know, like $12 into this project plus the elastic that I had to buy. So it's a pretty low stakes. The pattern is free. I've only cut out the pattern and sewn that one piece. And then I went to use my serger, that's actually my mom's serger, and realized that I didn't have the cord. My mom has the cord, so I didn't get very far on that. But I did cut them out. So I'm counting it because I did say I wanted to sew, and I'm doing it. Let's get into all the yarn that I've recently purchased. Like I said, I went to Joann's and kind of was digging through their like bargain bins and found some of this Lion brand local grown 100% USA wool. And this is non-superwash wool. I don't really know if there's much information. I really like the idea of having yarn that is 100% from the United States. And this was so inexpensive. Like, I don't think you can argue that this is not budget yarn. So if you go on their website, this is $14, $16 a skein. That's not budget yarn, I understand that. But I saved the receipts because so they were half off, bringing them to $8.47 a skein. And then I had a coupon for 20% off. So they were a total of $6.78 per skein. And this is 100 grams. They say that it's worsted, and Ravelry says it's Aran. I don't know, but it seems like a worsted weight to me. I really like the weight of it. It's a really nice, bouncy, whatever ply yarn. I don't know. So I have 4 colors, and 2 of them I only have 1 skein because that's all I could find, and that is the cream color and the blue color. And I'm thinking about maybe knitting a pair of Alma mittens with these, but I have a lot going on. I don't have time for that. And it's like, we're running out of winter here, but I do think that these would be really cute Alma mittens. This is my favorite type of blue. My favorite type of blue is the blue that's impossible to pair with jeans. And this color is actually called blue jeans. I would love more of these if I can find them for that price, which I don't think I can, but I think I can find them for the $8.78 price. I have 2 other colors. So these are all the colors I have. Going from left to right, I've got barn, maple, blue jeans, and then vanilla bean. And I feel like these colors look so good together. Like this would make such a cool, like, it's not a stripe hype sweater because I don't think that's the right gauge, but like a type of sweater like that. I don't know if there's one out there. I may have to just find a sweater and put stripes in it. And I actually have 6 skeins of this one, the barn color, and 6 skeins of the maple color. So that's really nice. So I have 2 sweater quantities of yarn, and I think the total per sweater was like $40 and some change. So this is great stash enhancing yarn for me to have. Like I said, I would love to get more of these 2 colors, but I couldn't find them in the store and they don't have them online. I think I could get like a couple of skeins of this online, but I have to pay for shipping, and so just wasn't like too motivated to buy it just because. And I would love more of this, because here we go with the cream again, but I would love a cream sweater with these stripes in it. But for now, I'm fine. If I find this yarn isn't going anywhere. If I find it on sale again in these colors, Joann's is going somewhere though, so I don't know. I don't know if they're going out of business or what, but apparently they're going out of business. But the Lion brand website also did have a sale. I did go to their website to see, and they have all the colors, and they did do, I think, a 40% off, so you can get it from them from significantly cheaper than the original $14, let's just call it $15 a skein, because I think it was $14.99. So you can get it for half off of that. But like I said, shipping, all these things. I just wasn't in the place to like just order these just because I was at the store and I was in a place to buy these just because they were on sale. That's all that yarn that I have. Like I said, sweater quantities of this one, sweater quantities of this one, and then just some other couple of skeins to play with. And I love how they just look so good together. Great job, Lion brand, and thank you. I bought these. I don't know why I said thank you to them, but thank you for making them. So if you're keeping count, that's 2 sweater quantities of yarn that I've added to my stash. Not even counting if you count the fisherman's wool, obviously that was 3, and then the blue sky fibers, that's 4, but I'm using them right away, so I don't know if you'd call that stash yarn. I do have one other sweater quantity of yarn that I purchased, and this is Noro Madara from Noro. And I bought this at my local yarn store, Hands On Knitting Center here in Redlands, California. And I bought this because I had gift cards from Christmas and it was on sale. And Casey from Young Folk Knits had a sweater, I can't remember the name of the sweater, but she had a sweater in this yarn. And I really like the color definition, like the depth. Like there's some like red in here. It's beautiful yarn. I've never worked with a yarn like this. Like it's an interesting type of spin. I don't know what you would call that. I have 5 skeins of this. And like I said, it was 20% off at my store, $25.25. So it was around $20 per skein. So it was around $100 for this yarn. Definitely a difference between this yarn and the Lion brand yarn that I bought, but I did have a gift card, so this actually didn't cost me anything, and I'm really excited to try this yarn out. I was kind of knit-fluenced by this, like, because I see other people, like Handmade by Florence uses this yarn, and James and Watts is really into Noro, and I had never tried Noro, and they have other Noro at the store, but it was like a blend of other things, and I liked this one. This is 60% wool and 30% silk and 10% alpaca. I didn't see the alpaca there for a second, and I was like, wait, that doesn't add up. That's 100% right there. So this is oh, sorry, that was a different one. This is my Noro Madara. I'll hold up more. I have one more skein too, but I can't hold them. So I have 5. I don't really have plans for this. I actually have a bundle in Ravelry of patterns I'm looking at for this. I did put a pattern in my queue just to represent this yarn, and I know that, but I don't know if I'm going to knit that pattern. If you have any recommendations for what to knit with the Noro Madara, let me know. The color is 22, color 22, and it's like a really pretty brown with red. I think I just have 2 more things to show you. So my other new addition to my yarn stash is this bamboo sock by Sorella. It's 80% superwash and 20% bamboo. And this was a gift from my friend who bought, I think she bought a mystery pack, and it came with 2 of the same colors. And so she gifted me one because we like to knit socks cohesively. Is that the right word? We like buddy knit socks all the time. She gifted me this one, and that was really sweet of her. Thank you, Melissa. So I have a new sock yarn to try, which I'm really excited. So I bought a bunch of Knit Pick Stroll to do all the colorwork socks, and it's really nice to have all of it because it's nice to have like a wide range of colors, and it was really inexpensive for what it, what I was needing. I like that I have all that yarn, but at the same time, I'm like, I really want to try other yarn brands, but I have all this Knit Pick Stroll, so I feel like I need to like work with it. I got a little stressed out when my SD card got full, and I ate a bunch of cookies, and now a little indigested. So I also ordered a skein of sock yarn from La Mercerie. They sent out an email saying their like February sock yarn was out, and I fell in love with the color. And then I read the composition of the sock, and I was like, sold. I should not be doing this, but add it to cart. That was frivolous. I mean, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Like one sock set for the color and the corresponding accent color was almost the same price that I paid for a sweater quantity of Alliance brand yarn. Like I said, I had no business doing that, but sometimes I cannot be controlled. I mean, those marketing emails, they work. So that's coming in, and I kind of feel like as soon as it gets here, I'm going to cast on a pair of not vanilla socks, but non-colorwork socks, like maybe some rib socks or something, because I am currently knitting a very intense colorwork pair of socks, which I'm not going to show because I'm coming up like next week with a Valentine's Day episode, and that's not going to be that long from here. So I'm going to show it on that video. I need a break from that. I need a palette cleanser. So as soon as those get here, I think I'm going to I think I'm going to cast on a pair of socks. And then lastly, I'm also waiting on an order that I ordered from Joann's like 3 weeks ago. And I'm kind of like thinking like, oh, did they just tap out? And they're like, psych. Like, what if I never get that yarn? That would be bad. And that is more of this Lion Fisherman's wool. So I have 3 skeins of this color in the brown heather. And I ordered the other color. It's like natural brown. And I like that color a lot more. It's like a dark brown. And I almost waited to knit the Sookie cardigan with that color instead of this color. And I'm so glad that I didn't because I still don't have that yarn. So I had 3 skeins of this, and I ordered 2 skeins of the dark brown color. And I'm going to knit, I want to say it's called the Irene vest. Let me double check that. Nope, it's the Lana vest by Irene Lynn. That's why I thought it was called the Irene vest. And so I think I might knit that with the dark brown fisherman's wool. So yeah, I have bought a lot of yarn. I don't exactly remember how much the fisherman's wool was. That I think is also $14, $15 and normally, and it was half off, and I did get it with the coupon. For the stuff that I bought in store, the dark brown color, I wasn't able to use the coupon because they have like all these loopholes at Joann's. It's like you can only use it if you buy it and pick it up in the store. So I put this order in January 12th and it's still processing. So I don't know if I'm getting that yarn. I really hope I am. But that is, I spent $18.25 on 2 skeins. So that was like roughly $9 each. And then for the 3 skeins in store, I only spent $21.89. So it was definitely cheaper in the store because I had that coupon. Oh, I do have one other thing that I purchased that I wanted to show on here. I have been totally influenced by Instagram and everybody on there making their Maxine water bottles. And I wanted to be part of this group. I actually frequently sleep with a heating pad in the winter because I'm a really cold sleeper, and Mr. Cheek does not like when I blast the heater all night, which is understandable. So I usually will sleep with a heating pad. And one night our electricity was turned off because in Southern California we had crazy winds and the fires, and they were trying to prevent power lines from going down and potentially starting fires. So they turned off a lot of electricity in the high wind areas, and it was really cold that night. So I went to CVS to get a hot water bottle heater, and they actually didn't have it, so I didn't buy it. But like ever since then, I was like, I need to get one. Not that they turn off the electricity a lot, but I also don't love sleeping with the heating pad because our house is old, and like I don't like having something plugged in and on me all night. I don't know. I have this fear of like our house catching on fire because our electricity is from like probably from when electricity was invented? See, this is why this is nice, because I don't want to sound a fool, and I actually don't know. Okay, so It's not that old. Or electricity is from the early 1900s, like 1912, 1915, I don't know, whenever they built the house. So it's old. That is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for being patient with my camera endeavors. I do not know what I'm doing, and I am just flying by the seat of my pants here, hoping that it's going to work out. I already started uploading some of it to the computer when the SD card died, and I know that my face isn't always in focus, and I'm sorry. I don't know if there's something I could do to fix that. Maybe not do autofocus, maybe just do all the time focus. I don't know. Like I said, I'm currently filming a Valentine's Day special. I've been calling it that, and I don't know if that's what I'm going to call it when I post it, but that's just what I've been calling it in my head, is the Knit Cheeks Valentine's Day special. And I am knitting a few objects and trying to curate a outfit for Valentine's Day. Cheese balls over here. But I don't know why. I'm excited about Valentine's Day this year. So if you would like to make sure you check that out, then don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for hanging out with me today in my wild knitting podcast episode. And I hope that I will see you in the next one. Bye. Dibbity beep. That's all I got.